So, as you can see by the title, I'm sitting out by the smoker right now. And I had a quick thought, and I wanted to go live just because sometimes going live is easier than doing all of the production necessary when doing a real video. And not that the live streams aren't real videos, but I wanted to talk to you quickly about the wagon. A couple of you guys, and Mark in particular, you recommended or tried to, you wish me luck in getting wheels for the wagon because they're an odd size wheel. You thought that I might actually have some problems or difficulty. So again, Mark, I wanted to thank you. All I needed to do, and all I did, was add some air to the tires of that of the wagon, okay, and it's rolling around here better than brand new. The recommendation on the tire itself was 30 pounds. I put 40 pounds in there just because it was a little high pressure in my compressor. But nonetheless, I wanted to make sure I thanked you, Mark, for your motivation to get that taken care of. So, I guess you guys probably want to know what I'm cooking, don't you? Have I told you guys before how much I hate opening up the smoker while I'm cooking? So here's my mess all on the edge of the smoker here. And we have a brisket, we have pork shoulder, we have some ribs, and oh man, what is that up there? Anybody want to take any guesses as to what that is? Any guesses? Anyone? There says to be 3 of you here. I don't know. Can you leave a comment so I know you're there? But do you know what that is? Or do you know what that's gonna be? Okay, so I'm gonna get comfortable again on my stool, and this is what I do. This is how it is. It is just over freezing. It's like 34, 35 degrees, hence the Scully and the fleece lined jacket. So if you're out there, let me know I'm not crazy and leave me a thumbs up. How about that? Notifications and such popping up. Can I get a thumbs up? Can I get a comment? Can I get a hi? There says to be 4 of you now. 4 of you. So can I get a thumbs up? Can I get a comment? Let me know you're here. And you just missed it. All right. Larry, hold on, time out. It's 7 o'clock here, which means it's what? 4 o'clock in the morning for you? What's going on 8? 7:30. So it's 4:30 in the morning for you. You're out in California. What are you doing up so daggone early? Hopefully you're smoking something. Either that or headed to work. I don't know which one would be better. Let me know. All right, we're at 5 folks and 2 likes. So the whole point of this video was, 1, to just let Mark know. All right, so Larry's on his way to work. I wish you a great day at work, sir. There's 6 folks. So if you're in here and you can hear me, just leave a comment. Say hi. Thumb the video up. Just give a like. And I started to say the reason why I started this live chat was just because I really didn't want to go through the production of letting Mark know that I went ahead and all that was wrong with this was, 1, when I used it last in that video when I was gathering wood, the tires were frozen, but the tires needed air. So that contributed to the fact, or the reason why it was rolling as roughly as it was rolling. Now, just as you saw, I aired the tires up. You can barely hear it rolling. So that's awesome. Also, if you missed it, I am cooking right now. Let's see if you can hear Bessie back there. So I am cooking. In the smoker currently, I have a whole brisket. I have like half a pork shoulder. Usually when you get pork shoulder in packs, it come in packs of 2. One time when I cooked pork shoulder, I only needed half of the meat that I got. So I only cooked half, and I was saving the other half for another event. Today is said other event. And I have 3 racks of ribs. And then, I don't know if you saw, did you see what else was in there? I still haven't seen any guesses as to what else it was that I am cooking or going to be cooking or going to be making in the smoker. But if you have a guess, please let me know. A Vasquez, live, laugh, and love in barbecue. Hey, well, I appreciate you watching. Thank you very much for the love. Where are you at? All right, John, thank you very much. I appreciate the support. Larry's like, I don't know what's in the smoker. All right, so Isaiah, the thermometers that I'm using, I have a couple different thermometers. And actually, there's a whole video about the thermometers. All right, Mr. Vasquez from South Texas. So I went to get this. This is the latest thermometer that I have. This is a instant read, pen thermometer. The thermometers that are on the smoker, those are Teltrues. And I have 3 of them on that smoker. And there's 2 Teltrues on this smoker. I believe these are maybe 3-inch Teltrues. And that is a 5-inch. The perspective, yeah. All right, Jason, morning. Thank you guys for hanging with me first thing in the morning. 3 likes, 9 folks watching right now. If you're watching and haven't given me a thumbs up, please do. I'd appreciate it. But I'm out cooking right now, and I just opened up the smoker a few minutes ago. Up early, man. I've been up since 3:30. Actually, my alarm was set for 3 o'clock, and I didn't get up and actually get out the door until 3:30. Today, I'm actually helping a friend of mine. He works at the TSA. He works at BWI Airport, which is not far away from my house. And he is, I don't know if he's treating some of his folks on his job or what, but my man Nick, you guys, if you've watched the H2O videos, my man Nick was the one that had the Jeep. Like I said, he works for TSA, and I don't know whether or not he took up a collection to have lunch today or if he's just treating folks, but he wanted a couple racks of ribs, some brisket, and some pulled pork, so I'm making it happen for him. It's not really an event, but he asked me to bring this stuff by like between 3 and 3:30, which means I had to get up early to get this stuff done. So, beef ribs, John Greno, I don't know, did I say that correctly? Is it Greno or Greno? The beef ribs are something that I make pretty much to order because of the fact that the beef ribs are, okay, so is it Greno or Greno? I don't know, 1 or 2. Anyway, John, the beef ribs, I make the beef ribs, I'll probably make a rack of beef ribs quarterly or so. One of the great things about the beef ribs is my family really likes them. So usually whenever, okay, John, all right. So usually whenever I cook beef ribs, they come in a pack of 2. And I'm buying 2 of them. So one goes to the customer, and the customer typically pays for both ribs with their purchase. Now, on a good day, I can sell the other beef ribs, and then I make profit. All right. So I think Larry, I didn't do the pinstriping. No, the builder Kirk, who's the builder of both Bessie and Vicky, did the pinstriping, and unfortunately, it was one of those things where the pinstriping, the colors of the pinstriping, and so you can see, first and foremost, I use my smokers, okay? These are not trailer queens, they get used. The pinstriping here, this is black, this was white. There's a gray and there's red in there. And yep, Kirk did sign it. All right, 2015 is when this one was produced. And the problem I have is, in the beginning, when I was having issues with getting the smoker running properly on wood, I would have to leave a crack in the door, and it would let smoke up through here. Now, if I were to clean this pretty good and scrub it, it would get brighter. That one. It would get brighter, but I just haven't cleaned it yet. Honestly, one of these Saturdays, once it finally gets warmer, I'm going to come out here and clean up all of these smokers. Because one of the things you guys don't see often in the videos is just how much abuse these things take. And you saw some of that scaling there. And then here's another little thing, a little tidbit. You guys ask me all the time, how is Bessie holding up? I've had Bessie now for 4 years, and man, I put her through her paces, and she just takes everything I give her with very little problem, and she just needs to be scuffed and new high temperature paint reapplied. But there's the smoker. This is Bessie the kick-ass smoker. There's a nice full walkthrough. Or walk around. All right, so the Elvis, hold on, let me go back to try to get the comments up. All right, so Mr. Vasquez, and I don't know what the A stands for, is it, you can let me know. The problem with the Priscilla is the name of that smoker, apparently. The problem with Priscilla is I was having problems with the electricity in my garage towards the end of last summer. And I wasn't able to get any welding done. And I had a hard time, a very difficult time, getting even my like hand grinders and other things like that running and working properly. I did talk about it in a video. I had an issue where the lines that were coming from the pole, to my garage were corroded, and I had to get the power company to kind of they redid them, and now obviously you see the lights are out here working just fine. It was to the point where I was running an extension cord from my house down to my garage just so I could have one light running so that I could actually use the smoker. So now that the electricity has been restored, and funny enough, I'm like, man, you know what? Today is the day I'm gonna get out here, and what I was thinking about doing is something similar to what I did in Bessie as far as getting the rack in there. But I'm actually going to make a shelf like in... Let me switch the camera. I'm going to make a shelf and a charcoal basket similar to how I did here inside of Vicky to go inside of the Priscilla project over there. So once and you guys... You saw, well, oh, you guys, no, you saw, because I've put up 2 of the 4 parts, I think, 2 or the 5 parts maybe, of the video of me using Vicky in pretty great detail. All right. Let's see, what other questions can I ask or answer for you while I'm standing out in the garage? So, oh, John, unfortunately, I can tell you, the beef ribs are difficult to come by. The beef ribs are difficult to come by. You have to know where to get them, and you have to know the plate beef ribs, where to get them. I get the plate beef ribs from the Restaurant Depot. Oddly enough, yesterday I went to the Restaurant Depot and I used my phone and did a little walk around or walk through in there. So hopefully it turns out okay. You guys would be surprised how many videos I actually scrap and I film and don't actually upload them or edit them and get them on YouTube. But that video, I've actually tried to make that video a few different times. The problem I have with going into the Restaurant Depot is they have music blaring. Like, you know, you walk into a store or a place and they have the speakers on like 11 and it's all like garbled. That's how it is inside a Restaurant Depot. That music will get me copyrighted, so that's why typically I end up scrapping those videos, because I don't really want to or can't get them. Just like I don't do well with the narration, but we're gonna try. I'm gonna give a valiant effort to get this done. Or get it done. All right, John. That's the only place I can find them. They've been sold out for months. Now, if you're telling me that the beef ribs are sold out where you are, and you said, John, you live in South Texas, then either somebody's buying them all up, or the meat manager there is not ordering them. So what you're gonna have to do is go to the meat manager. Oh, John, all right, you're in, excuse me, I'm mixing, Mr. Vasquez was in South Texas. John, you're in Tampa. I don't know how or what you would need to do, but my suggestion would be to go to the meat department manager and ask him to order some, right? If that doesn't work, go to the store, one of the store managers. If that doesn't work, call the Restaurant Depot corporate or tweet them. The person, whoever runs their social media, is very responsive when you tweet at the Restaurant Depot. Ask me how I know. I know somebody asked a question. What's up, Derek? Someone else asked a question. Okay. Do I ever smoke links? DeVille. No. I don't smoke links because of the fact, and I've talked about this before, I don't eat pork. So a lot of times the links or the sausages that I would possibly cook are beef sausage with a natural pork casing, or chicken sausage with a natural pork casing. So to me, that kind of defeats the purpose. Other than that, any sausage that I typically get with any regularity is already smoked. No point in smoking sausage that's already been smoked. No problem, John. Yep. That's exactly it. So Chuck, if you don't know who Chuck is, Chuck Newt is from the Winking Pig Barbecue. Chuck, I couldn't agree with you more. In the moment, that video you did when you did the ribs for your son, in that moment where you had the mic and it was off, and then you said you had to go back, and you're like, I don't remember what I was thinking or what I was saying, but anyway, all right, Armando, perfect. No, John, I do not always finish my brisket in the oven. I usually or typically finish my briskets in the oven if I only have 1 or 2 briskets that I'm cooking. I think I've talked about this before. If I can fit whatever it is I'm cooking in my oven now, just keep in mind, I don't have a commercial kitchen. I just have a regular, consumer kitchen. And my oven is only, 4 racks, and a brisket takes up pretty much 2, sliding in there. And if I can't get more than 2 in there at a time. So usually no. That when I did that event for the 300 people, I finished everything. I cooked everything inside of Bessie. From start to finish, I finished nothing inside of the house because it was just easier for me to. Now, one of the things I'll tell you, and I've said this before in videos, I finish my briskets in the oven, 1, to save on fuel, 2, to save from me having to come out to the garage, and 3, because I can regulate the temperature way easier. Now, also, if you're not smoking your briskets naked for however long, and then once you go to wrap them, I prefer wrapping my brisket and not cranking up the temperature a little bit. The brisket isn't going to tell. No one will know the difference. and you'll finish your brisket a little faster. Those people who are smoking brisket for double-digit hours, you're crazy. It's a waste of time. My time is valuable. Typically, I'm cooking to order, so the faster I get stuff done, the more money profit I make by not working as hard, if that makes sense. All right. Let's see. Other comments. So no, I don't have any trouble. And what you'll find, Armando, he asked about. Oh, well, I guess maybe is he asking the group or are you asking just me? Do I have any trouble finding ribs to buy or just a particular kind of ribs? So what it was, hold on, who was it? It was John. John said he had a hard time finding beef ribs in Tampa, right? See, John's on it. And what I suggested was he go to the Restaurant Depot. He said he did go to Restaurant Depot. The problem is the Restaurant Depot, they didn't have them. So I told him to go to the meat manager first and then to the store manager and then to hit up Restaurant Depot or Retro Corporate via Instagram or Twitter or even just, calling them, contacting them. Yeah. All right. DeVille wants to know how I came up with the pricing of my smoked meats. So I've talked about this before as well. There's the rule of 3 in restaurants. Yep. Okay. So the rule of 3 is you have to pay for your food, you have to pay for your time, and then you have to make a profit. That's the rule of 3. So typically, whatever you pay for your brisket. So let's say you pay for your brisket. Let's just use a rough estimate of $4. Okay, so 4 times 3 is 12. Is $12 going to be enough money for you to make profit on your brisket? I'm going to tell you it's not, because of the fact that you're going to lose half of the volume in brisket. So it's not like you buy a 10-pound brisket and can sell 9 pounds of brisket. That would be a pretty decent profit. You buy a 10-pound brisket, you can only sell 5 pounds of brisket or have 5 pounds available. So you have to make up that loss in your price. I charge $16 a pound for brisket. Anything under 5 pounds is $16 a pound. At 5 pounds to 5 to 7 pounds, it's $15.50. And then usually I'll try to sell folks on a whole brisket. I'm charging $125 for a whole brisket at the moment. Yep, exactly, John. Jason. All right, I'm sorry. I'm getting distracted. The comments are coming up on the screen, and I'm trying to be attentive. Okay, so finishing my thought. In order to price them, DeVille, again, you're going to have to take into consideration the cost of the meat, how much loss you have, your time, and you still need to make a little bit of profit. Okay, so that's why I was saying my brisket, I charge folks $16 per pound, and I haven't raised my price or up or down for that since I've started. That was my price. I started out with $16 a pound. Again, if it's 5 to 7 pounds, I'll drop it down to $15.50. Anything over 10 pounds is $15 flat. So 10 pounds and up. But I try to get people to get in that middle between that 8 and 9 pound range. What I end up doing is I sell them a whole brisket. Now, of course, when I sell a whole brisket for $125, that means I need to make sure that they're getting at least 8 pounds of brisket and I'm not shorting them. So that means I'm buying at least a 15 pound or a 16 pound brisket. I usually start to try and only get briskets that are between 14 and 16 pounds. I found that briskets smaller than that, really by the time you finish cooking them, there's not much left. So unless I have a small catering event, like today, the small event, the guy wanted 5 pounds of brisket. Guess what I bought? An 11-pound brisket. It'll be perfect. 20-pound briskets, they just take forever. You buy 2 15-pound briskets and do what you need to do, and you'll save half the time, as opposed to spending and all that extra time cooking, you'll have some extra time with your family or what have you. Let me go back and see some more comments here. All right, so yeah, beef ribs. Unfortunately, DeVille, not everybody lives in Texas where beef ribs are plentiful. Well, you know what? Maybe, DeVille, you volunteering to send some or take some ribs to Tampa to John? All right, so Armando says that he finishes his brisket in the oven to save on fuel after 8 or 9 hours. That's a bit much, brother. He'll wrap it up once it hits 165 temp, wrap it, and then put it in the oven. If it's taking you 8 or 9 hours to get to 165 degrees, brother, you're doing something wrong. You got your temperature way too low. Now, with the temperature being that low, I'm sure you're getting amazing smoke rings out of it. But you guys know, I've said it before, I shoot for 250 degrees in my smoker almost at all times. If you're lower than that, that's why it's taking longer. All right, John said it was a very good video. Okay, when I was talking about the fact that the amount of loss that I had when I was cooking a particular meat. Yeah, well, Chuck is saying you only get about 65% yield on a bone-in pork butt. I tell you what, Chuck, I've stopped cooking bone-ins. I only cook, the boneless just for ease of operation. Not that I don't cook like a picnic every now and again or a bone-in shoulder. It's just, again, I'm not that I'm lazy. I put in my time, and I know that me paying an extra 25 or 50 cents a pound for the boneless is worth it in my time and not having to do anything extra. When you cook a bone-in shoulder, it takes a little longer. Dude, Armando, I can't find tri-tip. There's one place around this whole area that sells tri-tip, one restaurant depot, and they sell it in like a 15-pound package, 10 to 15-pound package, and the 15-pound package is like $4 or $5 per pound. I ain't got $50, $60 just laying around just to be able to experiment on stuff. I bought tri-tip exactly one time. Well, Armando, also with the picanha, I had to butcher it myself, if you saw that video. And I did a craptastic job just guessing. I did a lot of research trying to find out exactly where where that piece came from. And I couldn't really find, all right, Larry, I got you. I couldn't really find where to get it. And then I happened to stumble in a Latino butcher, and he had it. And he cut it up, and I've been in there a couple of times. And it was crazy. The Latino butcher that I go into to get the picanha is directly across the street from the restaurant depot. So my wife kind of jokes, and she's like, every time you go to the restaurant depot, you come back with a piece of picanha. So the last couple of times I've been to the restaurant depot, I haven't gotten the picanha, but I'm itching to get some. Oh. One of the reasons why I haven't gotten a picanha, I don't know if you guys remember, but in the last live stream, I told you someone stole my propane torch. They came up on my porch on the side of the house and stole the propane torch and the propane tank it was attached to. No BS. So I've been without that torch for like 3 weeks now, which is why I haven't done anything sous vide using the torch. Larry wanted to asked about the drums. The drums still exist. The drums right now are hanging out. The drums don't get used anymore. These are like historical relics at this point. This is drum 1. This is number 1. This is the one that started it all. And this is number 2. Okay. And I use the drums. Oh, I haven't used these drums in probably it's probably been a good year and a half. Ever since I've gotten Vicky, I haven't used the drums. Just really has not been a need for me to. I do still make them. Last time I made a drum was last summer. And the folks that have bought them haven't had any problems. I actually had someone ask me if I was still making them, and he wanted to buy a second one. His first one, he actually said he let it rust out, and he wanted me to make him another one. Jason Well, I guess DeVille is he's going to start a shipping, a beef rib shipping company. I have made a video about the steel drum smoker. It probably was a good year ago. Look, John basically said the same thing I did, as far as talking about DeVille started a business exporting ribs. Okay, so I guess you guys are having a conversation to yourselves. So, Chuck, I don't think the tri-tip and the sirloin tip are the same. For whatever reason, in doing research, I think the tri-tip comes from the bottom of the calf leg, and the sirloin tip comes from the top, because there's a top sirloin and a bottom sirloin. I think the top sirloin tip is from the top sirloin tip, and the tri-tip is from the bottom sirloin. From what I understand, don't get me to lying though. Larry said he'll send me some tri-tip. Nah, man, I know where I can get it, and by the time I just spend the money to go get it, and then I'll vacuum seal it so I have some for later. It's pretty much worth it for me to just do that as opposed to paying for shipping. No, John, I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret, okay? I'm actually working on some videos for a company called Porter and York. Porter and York just sent me a whole beef tenderloin. And I'm not going to smoke the whole thing. I'm not going to smoke it at all. I'm going to actually, it's a 4-pound trimmed prime tenderloin. I mean, I'm blown away that they sent this thing to me. And what I'm going to do with half of it is I'm going to take half of it and actually cook it the way that they recommend. And the other half of it, I'm going to cook it indirectly in my grill. So, dude, I don't know how you guys, you guys are freaking awesome. Have I ever smoked a whole beef tenderloin? No, I had never bought a whole beef tenderloin because I couldn't afford a whole beef tenderloin up until this company sent me one to do something with it, which is crazy. All right, so DeVille was asking about sides. I tell you what, DeVille, I made it 3 years with only purchasing cold sides. And then actually, when I did that event, the one that was the biggest event I had ever done, the one for 300 plus people, they asked me to do some hot sides. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, whatever. I'll figure it out. And that's exactly what I did. I will know. I usually don't tell people no as far as things like that. So I was able to do some beans. I did some beans actually for someone back at Christmas, and those beans turned out great. It was vegetarian beans, and I added some onions and some peppers in them. Man, apparently they were the hit. Folks really loved those beans, so that was good. For that event where I did for the 300 plus people, I told you guys before, I had red potato salad, egg or potato salad with egg. I had a macaroni salad. I had a coleslaw. Those are the cold sides. Then I had string beans, of all things, string beans and baked beans. And the string beans and the baked beans were a absolute hit. They didn't take very long to prepare. I didn't do anything to the string beans aside from add salt and pepper. I didn't do anything to the beans aside from add some brown sugar. Perfect. And then the cold sides, I'm not telling you how I doctored those up, but I do purchase that stuff as well. Funny you mentioned that or asked about that. When I was in the restaurant depot, I almost walked down the aisle with the cold salads. I said, nah, I'm not going to do that. Okay, John, yeah, it was, well, my kids used to go to that school. All right, Larry. Hey, thanks for hanging out. Hopefully, I don't know. I'm checking the time. It's 8 o'clock. Hopefully you have a great day. So Jason, I have made macaroni and cheese. Now I'll tell you, I've only made macaroni and cheese, and I get this, dig this. I've only made it once, and what I did was, do you guys remember where I did that smoked cheese video? Dude, Chuck, man, yo, that's a great idea. All right, so the smoked cheese video, I really didn't go anywhere from there. But I did smoke the cheese, and the cheese actually, because I took a lot of precautions in using gloves and putting the cheese on aluminum foil, the cheese turned out amazing. It was amazing. And I ended up using that cheese in my macaroni and cheese. Now, we had a macaroni and cheese. Of course, there's a national day for everything. There was a national macaroni and cheese day. I'm actually going to sit down and get my coffee. Sorry. All right, so there was a National Macaroni and Cheese Day. So one of my coworkers said, hey, let's have a macaroni and cheese competition. And my macaroni and cheese was voted the best. And that was the first time I had ever made macaroni and cheese. And I won the bragging rights up until the next macaroni and cheese day next year. All right. Okay. Chuck, dude, you just blew my mind there, man. Really, you did. Excuse me. So if you're hanging out in the video and you haven't said hi or given me a thumbs up, please do. I mean, the conversation, I can sit out here almost all day. I have plenty of time. I have a decent cook that I am doing. So DeVille, to talk about that cheese video, if you look back at that cheese video where I smoked the cheese with the amazing smoking tube or amazing tube, whatever it was. All right. Well, thank you, Armando. I appreciate the thumbs up. The live, honestly, you guys are going to have to turn the notifications on if you want to get notified when I am doing a live video. I find that I watch live videos if I catch them. If I get notified, sometimes I'll sit down and watch them. Other than that, I very rarely go back and watch the live video just because it's no fun when you're just sitting there watching and you're not adding to the conversation. That's how I feel. So I appreciate you guys who are, taking your Saturday morning and you're spending a little bit of it with me. I'm just killing time. All right, Chris. Chris, come on. There's no interruption. I don't care about that. We all family here. You guys are my family. You guys are my friends. You can say what's up. I'm not worried about that. Trust me. Usually, as much as I ramble and rant, interrupting me is probably a good thing. It's like the wrap it up box. Like, shut up. All right. Well, unless you guys have any other questions, I'm really about to peace out. It's 38 minutes here. Let's see. I think I know who your girl is. Is she slim thick? I think I know who she is because I was like, who the hell is this? Why is this person following me? I think I do know who she is. It's one of those things, man, I tell you what. So people think that I don't actually watch and know what's going on with my Instagram. I am very attentive to who follows me, who comments, who likes pictures. I could tell you all the time who does what in on my Instagram. I'm most active on Instagram. Uh-oh. Hold on. What? John? Good luck. John just sent me some beer money. I appreciate that. Dude. Oh, yeah. So that was the whole thing because I don't know if you following me, if you're not following me, or if I'm not following you back, comment on a video and be like, yo, follow me. This is DeVille or whatever. Thank you, sir. Jason, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much for hanging out. But the whole thing was, I think you liked a picture or something, or commented on a picture or something, DeVille, and then she must have liked or commented on the picture, and I'm like, who the hell is this, like, somewhere down wherever, and she likes my pictures, not a lot, but, I mean, it's food. She seems like you probably tell me, does she eat? She like to eat, that's why she like my pictures. Other than that, like I said, I'm pretty attentive on who people are, and a lot of times, more often than not, I've gotten to the point where if you follow me and you like a bunch of pictures, you comment on stuff, I make it a point to follow you back. All right, Armando. Again, if I'm not, all right, so now here, look, let's just put this out there. And I've said this before in videos. If I'm not following you on Instagram and you contact me and you get in touch with me, make sure you let me know, like, yo, I talked to you in the live stream. Hit me up or follow me back. My Instagram is Steel, STEEL, Drum, DRUM Smokers, SMOKERES. But no, Armando, like, I have no problem following anyone back. The thing is, I'm not one of these people that just wants to randomly follow, 10,000 people, because I actually pay attention to what you're doing. You know what's nuts? So, I did an event for a tuning company. This guy, a friend of a friend, I'm big into cars. So, one of my car friends put me deep with this tuning shop, right? The tuning shop 2 years ago or 3 years ago is like, hey, can you come out and cater our event? Sure. I went out, catered the event, and that was what it was. So, I go to, they had he usually throws like a Christmas party. So he does like something in late spring, early summer, and then he does like a holiday party. So I go to the holiday party, and I walk up, and I'm getting out of my car, and there's a girl standing at the door smoking. So I kind of looked at her and was like, nah, all right. I'm like, I don't really, she doesn't look familiar, whatever. So then she was like, hey. And she used my government name. Most of you guys, if you don't know, my name is Scott, right? So she's like, hey, you're Scott. I was like, oh, yo, you're Lauren. She was like, you know who I am? I'm like, yeah. I said, I follow you on Instagram. I said, you're a friend of my friend. And I'm like, do. And I broke it down. That's the whole thing. If you can remind me, or, if you can have a story to how I should know who you are. If you be like, yo, I'm the one that commented this on that picture. Oh, you know what? I remember you. That's how I remember folks. So I'm very attentive to my Instagram audience because that's kind of how I got my start. And that's how I got this whole thing started. I've been babbling. I haven't been checking my temperature here. Ooh. Give me a second, guys. All right, we're sitting at 268. I'm good. Okay, so that was the whole thing. And she was blown away. That's perfect, Armando. She was blown away that I knew who she was. And not only did I know who she was, I knew about the fact that she had just had twins and her husband just bought a Mark I Golf TDI. Well, I guess it's not a TDI, it's just a diesel. So Mark I Golf diesel. I mean, and that was just pretty funny. So like I said, usually I'm really attentive and I know who's following me and who's active on my Instagram page. So, all right. Southeastern Ohio honeybees, and I'm sorry I don't remember your name. Was it Chris or something like that? I know I've asked you this before. I'm better at names sometimes than I am at others. All right, so Midwest Mike, I guess you are. He said, "What's the biggest brisket I've smoked?" I just talked about this not too long ago in this video. I try not to smoke any briskets. Oh, all right. No problem, fellow smoker. I try not to cook any briskets over 16 pounds. The biggest one I've done was like 19 or 20 pounds. And it just gave me grief because it took forever to cook. So I have not opted to cook a big brisket like that since then. I found that between 15 and 16 pounds, excuse me, is pretty much the limit as to what I want to start with, just for time's sake. All right. Well, look, guys, this is 45 minutes strong. Any other questions you guys have while I'm here? I can't show you inside of the cook chamber. Give me a second. I'm trying to figure out where I can put the phone, because the smoker is hot, obviously. But I need to get some wood into the smoker. Let's see. If I put you over here, nope, can't see me down there. How about here? I'll figure it out. Give me a second. All right, so I can't see the comments right now, but I'm going to. So I'm gonna get my coffee. Hold on, let me see if you're still in frame there. If I'm still in frame. Nope. All right. Okay. So I can't see the comments right now. I am in my smoke pants, and I have my coffee mug here and my big thermos. So I'm getting some more coffee. I know, it's a process. Give me a second, I will catch back up on the comments. Waking up early has its disadvantages too, one of which is needing coffee, especially in the winter to stay warm. All right, so let's feed this fire. Hopefully you guys can see this well enough. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but when I put that first stick in, I moved the piece of log that was unburnt in there around, and you see, as soon as I open up this door, the fire comes alive. I have the intake over here pretty choked off, and that's just because I want a nice mellow fire. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this back cooked up, and we'll see what I missed in talking to you guys. Ooh, sorry. All right, so let's see here. Okay. All right. Sorry for the rotation. It's just easier for me to have the camera here. All right, John, I appreciate your time. Obviously, you're probably gone already. So, all right, so Mr. Southeastern Ohio Honeybees, the way that and this is in Vicky, the way that this is it's, here, let me turn this around. All right. And if I could get it. All right, well, let me just do this. So if you can see, the thermometer threads into a piece of pipe. And I can't remember whether or not, and here's the other one. This, I believe, I don't think this is part of the thermometer, but I know for sure that there's a piece of pipe in there, and I can't remember whether or not the pipe is threaded or, come on. I think I snugged all of the thermometers down pretty good with a wrench, so that's why I can't get them open. But hopefully that helps. It goes into a piece of pipe, and so there's a hole drilled out, and there's a piece of pipe in there, a threaded piece of pipe, like an end of a pipe or a nipple or some sort of connection. And the thermometer threads directly into that. Or there's an adapter so that the thermometer can thread into that. Now these tail screws are adjustable. So you see the probe actually goes in on an angle, but the actual face of the thermometer is flat. Hopefully that helps. Let's see here. All right. Midwest Mike, have I ever smoked a Wagyu brisket? No. I'm not built like that, brother. That's why I am working full time, and I'm doing this as a side hustle again. Even when I was doing barbecue full time, I'd make $200 a week, and this is the part of doing this is not glamorous. There were weeks where I'd make $200 a week and have to pay $135 in daycare. Then with what was left, I'd end up having to pay $40 to fill up my fuel tank in the Jetta back there. The Jetta is affectionately known as the Mistress. And then I'd have $20 left or $25 left, and I'd have to figure out how I was going to make some money. I'd take that $25 and I'd go buy a pack of chicken wings or 2 packs of chicken wings. I'd sell the 2 packs of chicken wings. I'd flip the wings. Uh-oh. It's too hot in there now. I'd flip the wings, and I'm sorry, let me get this. It's stuck on my pocket. I'd flip the wings to get enough money to buy wings and ribs. I'd flip the wings and ribs to get enough money to buy brisket and pork shoulder, and then maybe ribs again. And then I'd take that money, and then I'd add enough money. And usually it would be like I'd have one slow week, and then I'd have a medium week, and then I'd have a bigger week, because it just kind of built up on each other. But then at the same time, there were weekends where I could make $600, $700. But then again, I still had daycare. I still had to pay my cell phone. I had to pay for tolls. I had to pay for a lot of other things. So my money was taking care of my expenses, which to be a small business, that's amazing. So no, Mike, I've never smoked a Wagyu brisket, just because I don't have Wagyu brisket money, even now. All right, so Armando, I follow many people on YouTube that have barbecue channels, and I have to say your channel is more real talk than many. The topics you do videos on are great, the behind the scenes and the cook, at a cookout, etc., things like that. Well, look, Armando, I appreciate it. I mean, I have to stand out from everyone else. I don't give you recipes and such because there's so many other people that are out there doing recipes. If you want a recipe, you can read a book. If you want a recipe, you can search on YouTube. I'm not into giving recipes. I don't know if you know this, but I used to actually teach computers. And one of the things that I used to teach my students or tell my students is you're going to get the answers to the questions in the book. Read the book if you want the answers to the questions. You're sitting in this class so that I can tell you about some real life stuff. And the real life stuff usually has lessons in it. And the lessons will also help you pass the test. All you got to do is pay attention. Armando, I appreciate that. Derek, you said you need to come up to support the business, man. You supporting the business by watching the channel. If you have conversations with me back and forth, then that's support because you are one of the ones that help keep me motivated. Good morning, Django the Mango. Okay, so Chuck says they're threaded with black thread. He just welded in a black pipe coupling into the smoker, and I kind of think that's how it is. So if you get like a 3-inch pipe coupler, you can probably cut it down to the point where the threads stick out just enough. And if you cut it in half, obviously that gives you 2 of them, if that makes sense. All right. Yep. So, I mean, the whole thing is the reason why the thermometers in the big smoker are the way that they are, the size that they are, is so that you can see them from a distance. That was Kirk's specific reason for saying that. Bring back the Jetta, Django the Mango says. I sent a PayPal. All right, so here's the thing, DeVille. I started drinking Miller Lite because, now I've told you guys this before, I'm from Philadelphia, so my beer of choice is actually Yuengling. Yuengling made some, decisions that I didn't particularly care for, so I haven't bought Yuengling in a while. Now, I needed a replacement beer. In Baltimore, Natty Bo or National Bohemian is prevalent. Problem is, I'm a diabetic, so I'm not supposed to have all of that sugar. That being said, I tried Miller Lite. I liked it. I've just stuck with it. That's the reason why I chose Miller Lite. Nothing other than that. I do not drink Coronas. I absolutely hate having to add stuff to a beer. I figure the beer should be the way that it is. If you need to add something to beer, you're doing it wrong. And then Bud Light, I kind of think Bud is a generational thing, and I missed that whole generation of being a Bud drinker. My father-in-law and his friends drink Bud. I will drink Bud if one of 2 reasons or one of 2 options. If it's hot and free or if it's cold and free. Other than that, I'll pick something else. John said, send beer money. That's support. Oh, man. Well, DeVille, you don't have to set up PayPal just to send me a couple bucks, man. I appreciate it. Okay, so Midwest Mike, again, it's not that I don't want to. I would love to. You go ahead and send me one. Go ahead and sponsor me and send me one. I will smoke it, and I will probably enjoy the heck out of it. But, yeah, that is expensive. I know what Wagyu beef costs, and I can't afford it. I'm a realist, brother. I can't afford it. If I could afford it, I'd be smoking Wagyu briskets all the time. But I can't. I have other things I need to take care of. You see all these projects in this garage? So look, there's the latest one. It's sitting up on the desk there. I cook almost everything in my smoker at 250 degrees. The only exception is when I'm cooking turkeys, and I try to cook those at 275, between 250 and 300. So I shoot for 275 for those. But everything else, I try and cook and maintain at 250 degrees plus or minus. So let's see. So, and let me turn you guys around so you're not backwards. So if you're looking at this Tell True here, this one is at 275, and this one is at a little under 250. And I can tell the reason that is probably because I'm running out of water. You really need to know how your smoker works. Usually, I just dropped the thermometer. Usually, if this side is warmer than that side, as far as up here, that means that the heat is I need to put some more water in there, basically. If the water was fine, then the temperatures would be even. Okay. Yep, I do cook them, John, at 250 degrees. Thanks, Django the Mango. All right, well, it's been an hour. I appreciate you guys who have decided to hang out with me for a couple minutes while I was cooking. And I got to get on to the next steps of my cook. And since I'm going to be opening up the smoker, for those of you who are still here, I'll show you once again what I have going on. So there are the pork baby back ribs. There's a pork shoulder. There's a brisket up there. And I'm taking guesses as to what that is. Django the Mango, you cannot reply. All right. If you haven't already, please do leave a thumbs up. That'd be awesome. If you haven't already, please do leave a thumbs up. Good luck working on your smoker. You know what? Missouri. Speaking of Missouri, I've never been to, have I been to Missouri? Well, yeah, Kansas City's in Missouri. You got me messed up there for a second. The Show Me State. So I've been to Kansas City a couple times, and I know all about Gates, Arthur Bryant's. Oh man, what's the name of that? I'm trying to think of the name of. There's another restaurant. Jack Stacks. All right. I've been to St. Louis as well. When I went to St. Louis, oddly enough, random fact, I was at the Arch and I met Nelly. No BS. No BS. I met Nelly under the Arch. Yes. So, in Kansas City, I would love to get back to Kansas City. There are a couple other places I want to try. Oklahoma Joe's, duh. Like, really, Oklahoma Joe's, you got Gates. How may I help you? If you've never been to Kansas City, if you've never been to Gates, then you won't understand. But as soon as you walk in the door, they yell at you, asking you what you want. And it is hilarious. It's like the soup Nazi. You better have your order ready, too, when you get to the counter. But yeah, Arthur Bryant's, Jack Stacks, Gates. Oh, man, there's so many other places that we used to go to this. It was like a Mexican restaurant we went to a couple times, too, while I was down there. Oh, Peach something. It was a soul food spot by the convention center. That place was nice. The reason I was in Kansas City is because of the IRS Service Center. My day job, I actually work with the IRS, and I was sent out there to help with. I was sent out there to help with refreshing of workstations for the government, as well as for server equipment. So. Because it's expensive to fly other people there. I'd rather be flown to Kansas City on my company's dime as opposed to my own dime. That's why you haven't been to Kansas City. Easy enough. But there is, so we stayed, not where we stayed, but we were working right at the old post office, which is what they turned into the IRS Service Center. And right there, you are near the Hallmark Center or the Crown Center or something like that. And there was a nice big mall, and there's plenty of places in there to eat too for lunch. So, all right. Well, look, I appreciate your time. Thank you again, as always, for watching. If you rock with me, I really do appreciate that. If you haven't already, please do. Well, you probably are subscribed if you're here, but leave me a thumbs up. I'm thinking it helps. I don't know how this whole live thing works. This is only like the second successful one I've ever done. So thanks again. I got to get back to my cook. I'll talk to you guys next time.